Hey, what's going on guys? One Up Ego here, and welcome to episode 7 of Scrimming Essentials, a weekly series where we'll be breaking down the basics of how to scrim in Fortnite. In this video, I'll be discussing how to W key and how to finish fights faster. Please leave a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. W keying is one of the most challenging yet rewarding playstyles you can adopt in Fortnite. W keying is characterized by an extremely aggressive playstyle, and while it can be difficult to master, can also be some of the most entertaining parts of the game. Pushing every opponent you see and always coming out on top is a matter of split-second decision making and is a test of your mechanical skill and game sense. If you're struggling to find players when you're rotating after you looted your initial drop spot, consider going to the congested parts of the zone to find more players. The highest amount of player traffic will always be around these choke points, which start forming when players rotate out of the storm together. Most of the time, these players will begin fighting each other as soon as they exit the storm. All players behind them will see the fight and will try to third party, and a choke point will form. These are areas such as point of interests and valleys and rivers that lie on the edge of zone. Consider rotating to one of these locations if you want to find more players to W key. In order to understand how to W key, let's take a look at some of the best W keyers in the game. For the first pro we're going to take a look at is King. He's placed 5th in the World Cup solos and has continued his consistency in other tournaments. Here's some notes that I took down while watching his gameplay. King always stays calm under pressure and is never caught off guard or surprised because he's always focused. This gives him the upper hand in fights as he never panics or makes a punishable mistake that most players would often make. He utilizes piece control to finish his fights faster, and he deals damage before the fight starts while continuing to apply pressure while pushing. King tries to avoid going for build fights and instead uses old builds to get angles on his opponents. Additionally, King always heals instead of going for a 50-50 fight, as he knows that if he's dead he won't be able to get any more kills. When rotating in later zones, King always looks back to catch people off guard and to punish their mistakes. Additionally, another great pro player that dominates by W keying is Mongrel. His mechanical skills and intuition makes him a formidable opponent to face. Here's some of the notes I took down while watching his gameplay. Focus on being faster than your opponent, react faster, be mechanically faster, and think ahead of the future faster. Try to third party fights as often as you can. This will often grant you free eliminations. Always use right hand peek and strafe in and out of cover immediately after you shoot to prevent taking damage. After you take your opponent's first wall, consider building up on top of their box. Most of the time, good players will try to expand outward, and if you go on top of their box, you'll have a different angle that they won't expect. Mongrel constantly pre-fires common angles that people tend to peek, so if he does go for that peek, Mongrel will get the first damage off on him. Finally, we have the last pro I want to cover in this video, FaZe Martos. He's best known for his insane arena points grind for each season and his calculated W keying playstyle. Let's take a look at his gameplay and analyze what he does right while he's W keying. Martos hits high damage pump shots by taking extra time to reposition his aim. Instead of shooting instantly when he sees his opponent, he makes sure his crosshair is first on his opponent's head before taking the shot. This will ensure that he hits the highest amount of damage on each pump shot. Additionally, he's always faster than his opponent. Notice how, like Mongrel, Martos is always thinking ahead rather than reacting. This will allow him to be one step ahead of his opponents and will allow him to catch them off guard. Additionally, he also predicts his opponent's moves and punishes them. Often in fights, he'll let his opponent make the first move in order for him to punish them. Martos always utilizes piece control, which allows him to pull off some really crazy clips. His edits are also very unpredictable, and he never does the same thing in a fight twice. This leads us to our next topic, how to finish fights faster. If you want to reduce the chances of being third-partied, try to finish your fights in about 30 seconds. Any prolonged fights that last longer is simply an invitation for third parties to come. An easy way to reduce third parties is to maintain piece control over your opponent. Piece control is the act of taking a building before your opponent does. By taking your opponent's builds before they place it, you're effectively denying them escape routes and will allow you to finish off a fight much faster. Another tip is to punish any mistakes your opponent makes. Have you ever heard of the saying, give someone an inch and they'll take a mile? This saying is applicable to Fortnite as you want to be punishing your opponent's mistakes as much as possible. If they make a predictable edit, punish them with a fat 200 pump. If they leave themselves exposed, laser off all their shield. Always look for opportunities to punish your opponent's mistakes, and when you find an opportunity, punish them hard. A pro tip is to pickaxe your opponent's wall immediately after they make an edit if they're building out of wood. The wall will break first try and you'll be able to grab the wall and make an edit, catching them off guard. This concludes episode 7 of Scrimming Essentials. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers, and I personally want to thank each and every one of you guys for your support. If you leave a comment in the comment section down below, I'll make sure to reply back. Please join me next week when I'll be going over how to box fight and how to apply your creative skills into scrims. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and have a great time scrimming.